Okay, what if I told you that some of the biggest, most successful products in the world get their start not with some flashy slide deck, but with a simple document, a document that can unlock billions of dollars in value before anyone even thinks about writing a single line of code? Well, this is the story of that $21 billion document.
So to really get what this document is all about, we're actually going to start at the end. Just imagine, you're scrolling through your newsfeed and you see a huge business announcement. You know, the kind that signals a massive successful project is just wrapped up. It would probably look something like this.
You see the headline, "This global e-commerce giant, let's call them Xmart, is making a massive play. They're going all in on emerging markets to completely overhaul the experience for their international customers." This is a huge move, right? They're trying to capture a customer base that's just been waiting to be tapped. And then you see the number. $21 billion. That's what Xmart thinks this whole thing is worth in new revenue. I mean, a number that big, it makes everybody, investors, competitors, you name it, sit up and pay very close attention.
So, how are they going to pull it off? Well, the announcement lays out a really clear three-step plan. First, total price transparency. No more surprise fees when you get to the checkout. Second, they're adding local payment methods that people actually trust. And third, they're making their mobile app feel like it was built just for users in places like Mexico or the Czech Republic. Seems like a pretty solid plan, right?
But here's the twist. What if this whole press release, this grand announcement of a multi-billion-dollar project, what if it was written before the project was even greenlit, before a single engineer was even assigned to it? That's because this isn't just a press release. It's actually the public-facing part of a super powerful internal document. It's something companies like Amazon use to build conviction and make these enormous decisions. And it's called a PRFAQ. A PRFAQ is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a press release plus a list of frequently asked questions. The trick is, you write it from the future, pretending your project is already out there and it's a huge success. The press release nails down the value for the customer, and the FAQ, well, that's where you have to defend the idea internally.
And this brings us to Amazon's famous rule. No PowerPoint, we read narratives. They really prefer written documents over presentations, and for a really simple reason. Writing forces you to be clear. You can't just hide behind a vague bullet point. You have to actually connect your ideas and prove you've thought through the whole problem from start to finish. And what this process does is create this fundamental shift in thinking. It moves the whole conversation away from, hey, is this technically possible? And it forces the team to answer a much more important question first. Should this even exist in the first place? Does anyone actually need this? Okay, so let's jump back to our Xmart example and look at the second part of this document, which honestly is the most important part, the FAQ. This is where the idea has to really earn its right to exist.
The entire thing is anchored in one central idea: real, genuine customer pain. You don't start with a cool feature idea. No, you start by digging through App Store reviews, support tickets, user feedback, everything, to find what is truly fundamentally broken for your customers. And believe me, the pain is real. Just look at this review from a user in Mexico. You can just feel the frustration. Slow shipments that never arrive. Nobody helps. I mean, this isn't just a small bug, it's a total breakdown of trust. And the FAQ section is built on hundreds of data points exactly like this one. So the research turned up more than 10 major problems, but the team knew they had to focus. They picked these 3 because they had the biggest, most direct impact on whether a user would actually click that buy button. These were the biggest leaks in the bucket, plain and simple.
So once you deeply understand the problems and you've prioritized them, the document then shifts gears. It starts proposing clear, concrete solutions for each and every one. Let's take a look at how that actually looks. All right, first up, those hidden costs. On the left, you've got the old way, a price that looks great at first, but you know it's not what you're going to end up paying. And on the right, the solution, the all-in price, with shipping and taxes included, shown right there on the product page. No more surprises, no more ditching your cart at the last second.
Next up, payments. That screen on the left shows the old, limited, very US-focused options. But the screen on the right, that's the future. You see local, trusted payment methods that users in, say, Europe actually recognize and use every single day, like SEPA or Klarna. It seems like a small change, but it removes a huge barrier to buying something.
And finally, language. On the left, you have a mobile app that's still got chunks of English everywhere. It just feels foreign, a little untrustworthy. But on the right, you've got the solution,
A fully translated experience, right down to adding a one-click translation button for user reviews. Now the app truly speaks the customer's language.
So, we've seen how the document connects a real customer problem to a concrete solution. But what makes this whole method so powerful? I mean, why does this actually work so well in the real world?
Well, for one, it acts like a filter. When you're forced to defend an idea in a 6-page document, all those flimsy drive-by ideas, the ones that sound good in a meeting but have no substance, they tend to just fall apart. It forces a level of thinking that a quick chat or a slide deck just can't match.
And a really beautiful side effect of this whole process is that everyone involved, engineers, marketers, designers, everyone, gets this deep, shared understanding of the customer. They really get the why behind what they're building, and that leads to way better decisions all the way through the project.
So at the end of the day, the PRFAQ isn't just some template you fill out. It's a whole system for engineering conviction. It forces you, number one, to start with the customer, not some shiny new feature. Number two, it exposes weak thinking early when it's just words on a page and not expensive code. And three, it creates rock-solid alignment, even across massive companies. And that really brings us to the core lesson here. Look, writing a document like this is hard. It's supposed to be. It forces you to slow down and think deeply before you speed up and start building. Because when it all comes down to it, the cost of rewriting a document is absolutely nothing compared to the massive cost of building the wrong product.